and gentlemen, welcome to the Balls Not Court Podcast. Cortez Paul's here, alongside Kevin Carter. Kevin, what's going on, buddy?
Huh? What? Oh, sorry. I know what's on the horizon and right over the beaten path. No more watching freaking summer league basketball. No more worrying about who's signing where. No more worried about people blowing off fingers on the 4th of July. It is upon us, my friend. It is upon us.
This is the glorious time.
Football season is upon us. 2 weeks, or a week, and we get our first preseason game. 2 weeks, I get the first one that I may be going to. So it's upon us. Oh, what a glorious day. The birds are singing extra. The sparrows are tweet, 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 tweet. Everything just smells better, seems better, food tastes better.
Kevin just got a little bit more pep in his voice if you hear it, and you can definitely tell it's close. And then the closer it gets, the happier Mr. Carter gets over here. And hey, I mean, it's one of those things where if you are watching during the summer and you're not really into baseball at this point of the year and soccer and everything else, it's kind of a long drag. So the summer, particularly for me and Kevin, is a little bit brutal. Probably more so for Kevin because he just threw a little jab at summer league basketball. I do watch that and everything like that. So
you can have all of this stuff. You can have it. If you like it, more than welcome to have it. I don't care.
Nah, it's not Kevin's.
Now, I care.
It is, yeah. That's why I say it's a good time because the kids are getting ready to go back to school.
I don't care.
You should care about that. The kids going back to school. And then...
No, because that means I got to spend money and buy their crap. I don't care. Go back to school.
Go back to school, and then football is on the horizon. So, and right now there's a few teams that's in training camps that we're going to talk about. Just,
every team is in training camp.
Every team is in training camp now.
Just practice haven't started yet, but practices. I know here starts tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I know some had some today, and so they're gradually getting going. But
right. So we got a few reports, at least from the Vikings and the Steelers so far. And as you see, Kevin is very excited that it's here. So well, this is going to be a real short podcast. It's just we're going to talk a little bit about the battles that they have as far as everything like that. And initially, we're just going to start off with what does the training camp session mean to you as a fan?
You get to watch. You get, especially around here, it's a little different from each teams because most of them ain't right where they usually play. They're always in different little spots and locations around wherever they're near. Here is actually right next to the stadium, right outside the stadium. They just walk and go right in. So here it's just good, especially this year because we get to see the new guys coming in. We'll get to see how everybody flows, get to see the progress that some of the second-year guys have made and everything. It's always just fun for me to be able to go out there and listen to people say what they think is going to happen, and then you have the realists come in and go, nah, that ain't going to happen. But it's just, it means it's nearer, so it's just fun to go and partake in everything like that. And when you didn't have a team for so long and now you have one, it's a lot different feel when you're in an NFL city when it's about to come around.
Yeah, I mean, for me, just because I'm not gonna sit here and say, hey, football is football. And we had training camps regardless of middle school, high school, college, and pro. So I mean, I did participate in high school. So I mean, I know a little bit how it goes. The 2-a-days and
no 2-a-days anymore.
No 2-a-days no more for NFL. But I know back.
They said, no.
Well,
We're getting paid for this crap. We're not doing it anymore.
Well, yeah, back in the early 2000s when I participated in football, I know we had 2-a-days and then we did night session, film session. So yeah, so I mean, yeah, of course the adrenaline's been running here, but it is pretty cool to see, the progress of of new teammates new team players that come to the team, and if you got new coaching staffs and everybody else that's trying to get acquainted to what you want to do. If you're a new head coach that's entering your program, then you want to go ahead and try, instill your philosophies and the way that you want to do things into these new teams and everything like that. So it's really just a great learning session and everything like that. You just try to gather as much information as you can, process, and it's all about showing your progress. This is what you put the work in the off season to, lift weights, run, eat properly. And I know we have some football players that did some silly things earlier this month, but
kaboom!
But before that, it's really just a time of just
my fingers over there.
Try to gather as much information as you can, and so it's always a pleasure to kind of keep up with that. I know NFL, the NFL Network is always good about showing live training camps and everything like that. I'm gonna make sure I watch the Houston Texans real camp on HBO, Hard Knocks, right?
Oh, Hard Knocks.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how J.J. Watt is going to interact, and because as you know, he's a character when you see him interact on some of the tidbits that is on TV and everything like that. So a full training camp with this guy, yeah, I'm definitely interested in watching that. So, but yeah, I think it's.
I always like the dramatic music when they cut somebody.
Yeah, and that's the reality of it. So you're here to make a team, and some guys, it's just reality. You gotta get down to.
I'm sorry, but we have to let you go.
So it's there's always the roller coaster of emotions with this because, like Kevin said, the cuts that you got to make, and
you're fired.
And I mean, no one don't like being cut, but it is what it is. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited for if you're a football fan, and of course, this is always the first step. It's a training camp, so you buddy with everybody else, and this is where you get in certain places where it's really hot and you get frustrated, and there's a little bit more tussling, and I think with some of these teams, because they're going to do some joint practices with other teams, that you want to hit somebody else finally. So
eventually it becomes, I'm tired of looking at you.
Yeah, I'm tired of battling you and everything like that, so I'm ready to hit somebody else, and I mean, as long as we don't have a repeat of the Cowboys and the Raiders fiasco a few years back where they, was going all out brawl.
Screw you!
I'm sure Kevin could have promoted that for a wrestling match.
Well, we used to have back in the day, Jacksonville would have the Saints come in. They had the Saints come in a bunch. Mm-hmm. And there was a few scuffles during those practices, too. This one's when you see Tony Baselli grab somebody by the head. And yap them around.
Oh, man. That's funny. All right, first thing first, let's talk about Russell Wilson and his contract latest there. They're planning to strike a deal before camp, but there's been talks that they're far away off, and it's definitely with the guaranteed money. I want you to expand a little more on that, Kevin, and give me your thoughts about this.
From what I heard, he wants a mostly guaranteed contract, if not all guaranteed contract. Wants to be the first ever one to get it in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think they're way off on, is that guaranteed money. I'm sorry, but a guy that's been in the league going into his fourth year, been to 2 Super Bowls, 2-time Pro Bowl selection, only lost 12 games as a starter, pay him. Whatever he wants, pay him. You're not going to find it again. You pay him. You got to give him the money. Him along with Marshawn Lynch is the catalyst to your team. I know everybody talks about their defense. There's a reason that defense is so good. Because they're not on the field most of the time, because that offense is running the ball down everybody's throat. And they're eating up the clock. That's why this team is so good, because both parts are equally just as good as each other. You pay the man that runs your offense. This kid has done nothing. He's clutch. Everybody's like, well, he's a running quarterback. When's the last time you've seen Russell Wilson take a shot when he's been running? You never see him take a shot while he's running. He's that good, and he's that smart at what he does. You need to pay the man, because he's not, just because he's running quarterback doesn't mean he's an injury risk, because we've already seen that he's not.
Tell him about his resume right here. Let's just talk about the guy.
I just did.
I'm telling you, just like fine. Hey, like I said, 36 and 12 careers as a starter. I mean, yeah, he went to the Super Bowl and he's 1-1, and it was not like the game before.
He
was
was
like
a stupid hand the ball off play away from winning another Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they were a turnaround hand the ball off play from winning the Super Bowl.
That's how close
that was on their coaches, not him.
So he could have been 2-0.
He could have been 2-0 in Super Bowls. You paid the dude. He's arguably the face of your franchise. He's that good. He has become that good of a quarterback. He fits what you do perfectly. Good luck trying to find somebody else to fit him perfectly if you don't pay him and you let him go.
I mean, Seattle just being cheap, or it's just a whole negotiating tactic that these teams are playing around because as a receivers for Des Bryant, there was that whole tug.
I don't think they're being cheap or playing around. I just think that this contract may mean new territory for everybody. With how he wants mostly guaranteed money and everything, I think the new contract is just it's new territory. So they want to make sure they get it right. But the man deserves whatever he's got, just based on what he's did, and he's doing it for a $1.5 million contract a year. I think he deserves a little bit more than that. He's going out on a limb there.
Yeah, definitely. You get your 2 Super Bowl appearances and win one of them, then you got to pay the man. I'm sure they know this, but it's just they need to go and figure out what's going on. They don't want this cloud hanging over this and going into the season. And then you got everybody just being a distraction. Next thing you know, you're not even talking about the Seahawks. You're not talking about when they're playing. They're talking about, well, what about Russell Wilson's contract?
And the bad part is though they got to try to sign everybody else they got too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the hard part they got is to keep this nucleus together.
Which is going to be a challenge, yeah. So. We'll have to see.
But you got to sign the main parts of your nucleus.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, they got an observation from the Minnesota Viking camp, and this is where I think everybody gets to training camp. Like, well, everybody looks good, but apparently they're saying that Adrian Peterson is looking pretty darn good right now. So, your thoughts about him and his process coming back, and the whole ordeal that he had to deal with this season and everything like that.
You gave a guy that takes a banging. I'm not even talking about that stuff anymore. It happened in the past.
Yeah.
But you took a guy that takes a banging and gave him a year off for him to get healthy. You gave a guy that ran for 2,000 yards his last season a whole year to get even healthier. Yeah, good luck with that.
Now
he's going to go right back in. He said, my goal is still to get 2,500 yards. I never doubt him.
So my question to you is then, and I want to pin fantasy this early here, but you still think he's definitely worth a top first round pick in fantasy?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. He's definitely worth that. But all them running backs in fantasy are interchangeable.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now, you got a few of them that are right at the top that are interchangeable. It's what you do later on.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a whole nother show.
Yeah.
But it's what you do later on. That'll be your good steals. But then they went and got out Mike Wallace, and Teddy Bridgewater looked good last year in the little amount of time he had. But he also has a good line and everything where he was able to look that good.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't coming in behind the line that was going to get him killed. Right. So there you go. And he had it. He had it perfectly. Add him some weapons and Mike Wallace. And then you got Kyle Rudolph back in his thing now. Mm-hmm. So their offense should be pretty well set.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And it's good to see Adrian Peterson is not. I mean, because there was this whole deal where he was trying to pretty much get traded and everything like that, and trying to get off the team, and he felt like.
Now he goes and signs a different deal, and he's right back to it. So now you ain't got to worry.
Exactly, and then now it's kind of like, well, you know what? You put that aside. You play in the NFL. You make